Hello, we are back with another blender special, and I know I said we were gonna do the fridge, but I've changed my mind. We are going to do the stove, and we'll see if we have enough time to include a hood range, but I don't know. We might have to put it in the next one, and the reason being is I just think that the stove and the hood range would go next before the fridge. Just trying to make a full kitchen, basically, in one step at a time, so hopefully you guys agree. If not, you were looking forward to the fridge, all I could say is I'm sorry, and it'll be in next episode. Shouldn't take long, obviously. It's not a big deal to make a fridge. I'm just going to try to figure out the dimensions of our stove. Probably around the same as the counter, give or take. Doesn't have to be exact, obviously. So I think this is going to be good for side to side, maybe. Now we'll do some up and down and try to figure out the height of it. What we could do is go over here and we could copy the dimensions basically. But it's not going to be the exact same, so I'm just going to freehand it. But just in case you wanted to, you could do it that way. Completely up to you. Alright, so we got a stove looking device to start with. How shall we start our stove? Okay, let's shift D it first of all, and we'll take it up and we'll shrink it down. Actually, let's not do it that way. Let's use our scaler so it stays the same on our one axis. It doesn't get any smaller, so it still fits to the other piece basically. Know what I'm saying? I believe you do. Something like this, maybe. You know what? I'm gonna go like this, and then we'll grab the top and we'll go into edit mode. And we'll just make this one go back. You know what? Let's not do it that way. Sorry, I keep changing my mind. Let's go to this, and we'll keep the back flat, and we'll just push the front back like that. I think that's more correct. Just trying to be exact for you guys to get the look you want for your stove, and it looks authentic and real, hopefully, with any luck. Something like this. Might have to adjust the height a little bit, but I think it's about what we want, basically. Okay, what would be the next step? I'm not sure. As you know, I just kind of wing it all with you guys, so let's try this. I don't plan it out because I feel like if I do, it's going to be such a standard that it's not going to be very much fun to make in the first place, basically. Let's try to go to a different shader while we're not coloring for we can see it just slightly better. And if you missed that, I just went up to the top and switched to here. And it's just a viewport that doesn't have shading included, basically. Since we have no color, it'll just make it that much easier. Okay, we're going to add bevels because we've reset our bevels. I'm going to go to 6. You can do whatever you like, though, if you feel like trying something else. Normally, I'd redo this to make it a bit smoother, but I actually think that's close to the shape we want. So, just going to have to adjust a little bit. Move it up. Because on the bottom of a stove, there's usually a part down here that's for storage, but not always, but in most stoves, so we're going to do that. Get the right depth you want. Make sure you don't go through the back. I think that's what I want. I'm happy with that. Maybe I'll go down just a hair. And then I'm going to Shift D. Okay. I'm going to just move it out here. And then I'm just going to take this one and just S it just a little bit. So it's the same as the other one. It's just a little bit smaller, okay? And the reason being is we're going to bool it like this. And how I did that left click, shift left click, and then I went to my bool tool, is now when we flatten this, just like our dishwasher, the door should fit on top. Got to make sure you don't cross your axes on this when you're trying to thin it. If you need to, let go of it and grab it again because you just don't want to go too far. So this should be a door that fits on our stove now. And it does very well. So now we will Shift E it again. And we're going to hit S and just let this shrink. Okay. Then we are going to go like this. And we're going to make a window. Okay. Now, do I want to do it that way? I think I do. Let's keep going like this. Again, I kind of just do it art style. I want to do it with you guys because I want to learn together, right? I want to also show you that sometimes you do make mistakes, and that's fine. You just fix it. But we have not made a mistake today at all. We've done well. Okay, so we're just going to grab this inner edge like this. Then we're going to control left click, staying on that one edge. Just want to grab one of them, okay? Control left click, and that one's going to be a little hard to grab because it's so small. And then you just want to land on the very last one and control left click, okay? Now we're going to push F, all right? Okay, so what we've done here is we've made a plate back here that we're going to change the color. We're going to make that a window for we can see into our stove when it's cooking. The one thing I would say, though, is you probably might have wanted to cut that out and use it for the front door, but we're going to have to freestyle it because I messed up a bit. And that's fine. It's not going to be a big deal at all. Make sure you're on your axis when you move and you don't just drag it really tall and big. So we're going to have to get this kind of on the center. It doesn't have to be exact, but the more exact, the better it's going to look. So take your time, pause the video if you need to. And sorry, I should include this, but I just didn't think of it. We should have reused this piece to make this the bottom door too, but we didn't. So we're going to do something like that. Let's move it in place and see what we got. Slide it out so we can see it a bit better. So we got to make sure we leave a gap around it. So let's do this just a little bit. Looks like it's over to the one side a little too much. So we're just going to gently drag it over. We can confirm by trying to look on either side of this how much is there and how much of a gap is over here. And it'll help us size it and just get it into place better. I think that's around perfect if it's not perfect. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Again, just the more perfect it is, the better it's going to fit and the better it's going to look, and it's just going to look more symmetrical and well designed. So we're going to go a little too small like that. And then we're going to back it up right near our edge for we have a long, long drawer. And this doesn't have to function. You can just make a door that goes over front of it. Or you could do what I'm doing, Shift D it, for you have an actual bottom drawer that you can open. It depends on your game and what you're making or your project or whatever you're doing. So I like to give lots of options during my tutorials for you can use this as an example to get where you're going. Alright, so that worked pretty well. We got a nice shape in there. So we're going to Shift D. And we're going to make the front drawer first because I'm going to run into a problem in a minute if we don't, and I'll explain as I go. So I just made that a little bit bigger. And now I'm going to make it real thin because it's going to be the front of our drawer. And it just needs to be a little bit bigger, and it is. We used S to make it just slightly bigger on all angles. So I'm going to just move it to the front now. Okay, and then we're going to go into edit mode, and we're just going to grab that edge, that edge, that edge, and that edge. Oh, I think I got the wrong one. I got that back one, and I don't need that. Yeah, I must have clicked the wrong one over here. Yeah, okay. And then Control B. Okay, something like that, just where it's slightly tapered on the edges. And we'll grab this, and we will Shift D. And we'll move it slightly up, and then we're going to hit S. Okay. And that's going to click the inside one, and then the outside one with Shift left click, Object, Bool, Difference. Oh, did we go the wrong way there? I think we did. I think we did the wrong one. Let's try that again. Let's just go undo. Okay, we're going to click this one on the inside. Make sure you got the inside, then the outside. Alright, that's better. That's what I wanted. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me. We'll go ahead and attach it if you like. But before we do, let's steal this piece. Shift D. I think we can use it for our handles. I'm not sure, but we'll give it a try. So move these in. And I'm probably going to attach those with Control J just for their one piece. It's just going to make it a little easier if we're going to make this functioning. And then I'm going to take this piece. I'm going to thin it out to about there. Then we're going to stretch it out to about there. And this might not be the best piece to use for a handle, but we're going to try it and see what happens. I'm going to Control B those. Well, let's just have a look at that top edge and make sure we didn't break any faces. It doesn't look that good. Let's just delete it. Let's just Shift A, and we'll pull out a new piece. Sometimes it's better to use a new piece for this stuff because you can't always multi-purpose. It's nice when you can, but it just didn't really work out. Okay, so we're going to move this out front. I'm going to go into edit mode, grab that one, Control B. Okay. Something like that. Out of edit mode. We're going to thin this out like that. Then we're going to thin it out like this. Perfect. And then we just need to figure out the size of our door. Again, we're going to have to hand bomb it, so we're going to have to be a little careful to make sure that we're pretty close to right on. Take your time. Pause the video if you need to. It's better to do these pieces in the middle and kick them off to the side after, but I decided to do it this way to kind of give you guys a better vision of what's to be coming, like what the whole kitchen's going to look like together. Because I know some people have issues trying to visualize things when someone else is showing them, basically. Figured it'd help with our design. Is the best way to say it, I guess. I think it has. So something that kind of comes with experience. Eventually, you'll probably feel the same way. Is that like you'd rather freestyle certain things. You'd rather you need some help visualizing, so it's better to do it sometimes like this. It's all going to depend on your style and everything. So on the inside piece, Shift left click the second piece. We're going to go ahead and Object, Bool, Difference. All right. And now we have our piece, and it looks pretty good. I'm just going to do that. We need two handles, I think. One down here. And Shift D. One up here. Okay. Hopefully that makes you guys happy and you like the design and it looks pretty good to you. I'm pretty happy with that so far. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. If you're not, you can always use my example to do something slightly different that fits your design a little better. But I honestly think it looks really, really good. We'll go ahead and color it before the end of the episode and everything else, so make sure you stick around. Before we go any further, I'm going to ask you guys politely, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. It just helps me know who's into what, who's watching what, who's enjoying what, who's not happy with what things. If you don't give me a thumbs up, I kind of assume that you're not happy with the design, and I kind of start moving on to other things. So let me know how you feel. If you just want to give me a shout out and say, hey, I like this design, or hey, Fishman, I want something different, let me know. We'll figure it out together. I don't mind adjusting, all that stuff, okay? If you're not happy with the height of your stove, by the way, once it's all one piece and you're completely happy, we can go ahead and make the whole piece one, and then you can adjust it, and then you can just deattach your doors again. So that way you can adjust the height of everything together without having any mix-ups. Alright, so moving on. We got to do some burners. We got to do some controls to turn our stove on and off. So let's get started on... Let's do our burners first. Hopefully that'll be nice and easy, but we'll see. Maybe we can just pull an extra piece off for the other ones, though. Save ourselves some time. So I'm going to do this, and then we'll Shift D, and we'll drag it back down, okay? And then we'll drag it up a lot, actually, and then hit S. Okay, all the burners on stoves are different sizes usually. So we're going to have to kind of figure out a bit of a pattern, maybe. Again, this would be really good if it was in the center because we could use math to make sure it's 100% symmetrical. And we could put it in the middle if we want. There's just a lot of stuff in the way. See if we can. Just might make things easier. I don't think I have to bool any more shapes out, so I think I'm safe to attach it. Keeping in mind that if you have to bool another shape out, sometimes the bools can be destructive to what you've attached to your design. So say I have these doors attached to this, I Control J them, and then I try to bool a shape out of it. What could happen is you could erase things with your new bool. So putting this bool in here could make my doors disappear, basically. I'm not sure why it happens. I'm not exactly sure on the process. I just know it happens. And a fella's been telling me to give you guys some warnings about things like that. I think he called it a destructive bool. And so I thought I'd mention it anyways. I don't want to see you guys lose anything or get anything broken. But I don't think we need to remove anything from here is my point. So I think we can Control Join. Oh no, you know what? We do need to remove something. No, do we? Okay, you know what? I don't think we do. We don't. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. So I'm going to do that for a reason, okay? I'm just going to test what takes me to 0. And I'm just going to go 0. And I'm just going to show you guys how we would do this symmetrically to make it a little bit better. The same thing. 0. Right? Just make sure you can see it. It's not buried in that other counter. 0. Okay, and it just makes it a little easier to see what you're doing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to drag this other cupboard we had in the way out of the way. Okay? Just like that. And we'll just move them back when we're done, but we're just going to do it here to make things a little bit more symmetrical for our design. Make sure we're off there. Now we know we're exactly at 0. Okay? And how that helps us is in this sense. Okay? Let's first make our first burner. Get it around the same right size. We'll make the one above it to make sure we're about the right size. Something like this, and then we're going to do something like this. Okay, and then we're going to go to edit mode. We'll grab the face on the top, and we're just going to make this one smaller like this. For our burners kind of have a certain shape. It kind of like looks like they lean up like this. And if you want, you can do the really old burners that got the swirl in the grill. I'd probably use a Bezier for that. But I'm going to tell you now, it's going to be an awfully hard trick to pull off unless you got something in your head to think of. Like a way to do it, basically. So I'm just going to do it like this, just to get moving along. And I think this is what modern burners look like. I might have the height wrong, but in general, I think I'm pretty close to right. Maybe we'll go a little bit thinner. I think it might look better like that. Maybe like that. We'll Shift D it. Okay, and again, every burner is going to be different size, so that's where things are going to kind of come into play. So I'm just going to shrink it like that, something like that. Okay, happy. Looks good to me. So we'll Shift D this. And since we went back to 0, then moved it over, we should be able to get rid of this and put it symmetrically on the other side. And that's what I was just saying. It's better to build directly in the middle than drag them off somewhere each time. But again, it's up to you what works for you and what you're going to do. And I shouldn't do it that way, actually. Let's undo that. Okay, let's leave it like that, the same as the other one. And we'll Shift D this one. And we'll drag this one over instead of dragging the other one up to make sure that they're absolutely symmetrical. As I'm telling you this stuff and I don't do it right, I figured I should go back and do it right. Okay, so now we have a perfectly symmetrical stove. We could go ahead and attach these if we want. Let's just do it just to have it done, I guess. We'll grab this piece. Let's swing her around at a 90 here. Actually, I think it's the second axis, but let's find out. Yeah. Okay. So just like this. And then we're going to hit S. And you're going to decide on how big your switches are going to be. Okay. Something like this. This is going to be the back plate for it. Shift D. We can try to use the other side for it, but I don't know if it's going to work. So I'm going to do this, right? Then I'm going to do this. I don't know if it's going to look right, but it might. Actually, it does kind of look right. Yeah, I'm going to use that. That looks good. Something like that, and then we'll just drag it through the front so we're sticking out quite a bit there. Maybe you don't want to go quite that far. But I think this is what a stove switch looks like, and then you just turn it one way or the other, turn stove on. Again, if you got a better version or you want it to look a different way, maybe you're from a different country, I'm from Canada, maybe your stoves look a little bit different wherever you live, that's perfectly fine. Just make it how you want it to look, okay? I'm going to make it this way. Hopefully everybody's okay with a Canadian stove look. I'll go ahead and join it when I'm ready. Alright, so let's bump this back, and you'll notice there's an issue. It doesn't go in very straight now, does it? What we're going to have to do is figure out if it's a 95 or an 85 degree angle. And by that, I'm going to say it's an 85. Might even be an 80. Okay, do you see that? We got a perfectly level edge now in there. So I'd say it's definitely in there right. So I'm going to do 1, Shift D, and 2. Okay, Shift D. And then we're going to use our secret to make them go symmetrically on the other side. And again. Alright, and that way it's perfectly even. So maybe you want those to turn, maybe you want them to open. I don't know. For now, I'm just going to attach them all. We'll do our coloring. And then if you need to disattach them, I'll give you a quick example on how to disattach things you don't want attached in the end. And I just went up to here and I changed to the viewport shading. And then I came down here and we're going to go to material property. So you'll see this stove has no material property. We're going to go into edit mode, and then we're going to go new. Okay? And we're just going to pick a color that's not white for we can see it. I know you don't want your stove yellow in game. I get that, but we're just giving it a slot to give it a color in game, so it's not going to be that color in game. You see all the tops of the stoves and all the handles are already lit up, so maybe we'll take advantage of that, and we will do new, and we will, since they're all lit up, we'll let it color the handles for us. We'll make them green, for example, and again, they don't have to be green. We're just giving them a color for now, just a slot to say yes, I have my own color. Then we're going to hit L over these 4 burners. We're going to go plus new. Let's just make them black because we know they're pretty much going to be black in game, like so. These 2 handles need their own color. I would leave the door the same color as the rest of your machine, the rest of your piece. Uh-oh, I've got one down there messed up. So let's do these handles a bit different. Let's just do them white if you want. Okay? And this handle got messed up, and this one too. Or not this handle, but this door. So I'm just going to go with the original color, just for they don't have a weird color on the corner like it had. Okay, so we've got pretty much everything we need colored except for one little thing. We made this window, so we're going to have to make that with its own color because we're going to make that transparent for you can see in your stove. Alright, so I'm just going to make it blue. Obviously that's not the color it's going to be in game, but just for now. Just say this has its own color scheme. Has many colors, so when I give you a color in this slot, I'll choose what color I want it to be, basically. Alright, so I think we got it all. I think we colored it all. Trying to think if we're missing anything. Oh, right, I did say I would show you guys how to separate things that you want to be able to move. I'm so sorry. So we'll just hit L and then L, okay? And then we're going to hit P, selection. Okay, so now when I go out, I can click on this, and it's one piece by itself. Right click to cancel. So I can just need to do that on everything else. So go back into tab. Sorry, grab the stove, go back into tab, L, L, P, selection, L, L, P, selection. For any pieces that you want to separate, it's a really easy thing to do. So again, L, L, P, selection. Okay? Maybe you want your door to go. Maybe you want your door to open. L, L, P, selection. Okay? Just make sure that you only L, L, and P the parts you want to separate. So since I did those separately, I did these two together. Oops. When I click on this now, and I know the move point's up there, you can just right click on it. And what do we do? I kind of forget. Set origin to geometry, like that. There you go. And now the move piece is right here. Perfect. Oh, I think we missed the back half of our drawer on that one. Yeah, we did. I don't know how I'm going to get in there to get it. Oh, I know. Move that out of the way. Did we not put a hole for that? I guess we didn't, huh? I could have swore we did. I'm just not seeing it. No. All right. Well, we'd have to draw another hole from that, but that's not so hard. I'll show you a little secret way I could do that. Using kind of our technique that we used previously. So, at edit mode, we'll grab this piece. Let's just boost it forward. Okay, we'll go into it with edit mode. We'll click off everything. We'll push L over top of just this. We'll hit Shift D, okay? And then we're going to hit P, selection, okay? And what that's going to do is give us a piece that we're going to be able to use to draw that hole. The only problem is we got everything attached. So you might have to disattach the stovetops like this for you don't have an issue booling. So we would P selection. We can just do it as one for we can attach them again real easy. You know what? Now I'm seeing that piece too. Oh my god, I already have that piece. It was just in there perfectly. We don't need this then. My bad, my bad. I thought I did that. I was like, what the heck? I was pretty sure, but that's better. I'm sorry about that, guys. It can be a little confusing even to me sometimes. And if you want to, you can get in there and change the color of that back piece there by just clicking the faces. Will I do it? I guess I will. Go in there and just shift click all the pieces you want to change. Not really a big deal. And make them yellow if you want. And that way it blends in a little better. Okay, so make sure that we attach. Oh. Let's go back into that mode and we'll hit L over top of this and we'll hit P selection, okay? And as you know, we're just separating those two. So now we hit this and then we click this and we control J. They are now one again and you can slide them open, shut, and they're completely colored. Okay? Hopefully that works for you. If you have any issues, let me know in the comments. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you thumbs up. Make sure you let me know. Do you like the design? Do you think it should be different? Did you enjoy it today? Don't be afraid to let me know how you feel. I'm not going to get mad at you for it. We're all welcome to feel the way we want. Maybe attach those back, by the way, too. Control J. Then when you want to move your stove, make sure you grab everything. Your doors, everything you've disattached, your piece last. That should be it. And then just drag it where you want. I want mine down here. And that gives us a free spot to do some more work next time where we can work on our fridge right in the middle and use our axes. Alright, hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode and thank you all for watching. I appreciate every bit of your support and you guys visiting me and watching and having some fun with me. So we'll see you next time.